good to you guys. It's me doing it again. We're back at it, baby. It is Wednesday, August 8th, 2021. Boys and girls, ladies and gentlemen, welcome back. Glad you made it. It's another So-So production. It's glad to be back. Not gonna lie to you guys, missed you all. Hope you're all doing well, man. Hope everybody had a great long weekend wherever you are. Hope you're all well rested. Hope you're all tip-top. Hope you're all kicking butt, taking names all over the place, man. If you're here in Toronto, Ontario, kicking butt, taking names, do it up. If you're in Canada, keep doing it. Down in the US, let's go, baby. Australia, pick it up. Let's go tighten up, or actually loosen up if you're in Australia. God. New Zealand, Asia, Africa, Europe, wherever you are, man. If you're tuning in, well, thank you for tuning in. If you're a long-time listener and viewer, thank you very much for all the love and support. If you're a newbie to the show, buckle up, baby. Buckle up, man. Sip to you guys. Still very hot. Still very hot. All right, boys and girls, let's get into it. Let's get a little bit silly-willy around here, cause you know, if you had a choice, if you had the option, and we'll get into it. But if you had the option of spending the night, an evening, a romantic evening, if you will, if you had the option of spending a romantic evening with yourself, and you had two options, right? You have options. Always got options on the table. If you had to pick between a night of diarrhea or a night of throwing up, which do you prefer to go with? Do you prefer to go with a night of throwing up all over the place? You know, a good old-fashioned you're regurgitating pretty much. Or do you rather go with that diarrhea? Why are we talking about this? Why are we talking about this, Rob? It's Wednesday. I know. It's halfway through the week already. I know. Well, you know, it was the long weekend. I had a little bit of a relaxing time to myself. Just did a little bit of recoup. Felt great. I'm like, you know, it's the long weekend. Take the Monday off. You haven't had a day off in some time. Take some time, rest. Feel good about yourself. Take care of your body, your spirit, your mind, your soul. Feel good, baby. Get well rested and then come back. Start going at it strong again on Wednesday. Everything was great. Everything was going superb up until yesterday, man. Up until last night, actually. You know, every once in a while I like to do a little bit of cooking for myself. Different dishes, different flavors here and there, and a little bit, you know, it's been some time now, a couple of months that I've been experimenting with a wild recipe for a bad batch of that chili. You feel me? A little bit of that chili, baby. It's that soul food. Especially, it's, you know, it's that food that you can have and feel good about yourself. It's wholesome, it's filling, it goes well with the weather. It's autumn season, it's fall. Grab yourself a bowl of chili. That's what I said to myself. I'm like, oh, who's gonna feel good after a little bit of chili? This dude right here. You know, eating that chili, living in my life, living that beautiful single life all by myself, eating that chili, tooting, farting all over the place. No one's the wiser. Nobody knows. It's just you and me. Just you and me, dude. Doing it. Had it for lunch. Everything was great. No problemo. It's not my first time dabbling in chili, dude. We've been around the zest a few times. All right. We dabble in the spices every now and again. Everything was fantastic. I was just getting myself ready. I'm like, all right, get ready. It's evening time. Time to relax. Time to, you know, had some time to unwind. Let's go in the new work week as of this Wednesday. Start things on a high note. Fantastic. But it got, you know, it was around 10:30 that I started feeling a little bit hungry. I'm like, the boy's a little bit hungry. I told myself that. What are you gonna reach for? I should have just reached for a tiny little snack. That's what I should have done. That's what I should have. You know, it's been 31 years that I've had this body, that I've had this, you know, vessel. I know how it runs. I know the operations, the ins and outs. I know myself like the back of my own hand, dude. Some might say I know myself better than anybody else, but you know, that's pretty much for everybody almost, right? You'd think you'd know. You'd think, you know, and this hasn't happened in a long time. But I'm like, I'm hungry and it's 10:30. Let's go grab that delicious bowl of chili. You know, scooping. It's nice, it smells good. About to warm it up, but here's the thing. I accidentally warmed up a little bit too much, you know, just a few spoonfuls extra. just a few spoonfuls extra. And I'm like, we're not gonna be some, we're not gonna be some, you know, we're not gonna be, you know, I'm gonna tackle that bad boy. I'm gonna tackle that bull, finish it off like a man, strong, and like, you know, that's the thing. You finish all your food. You don't leave anything behind. Because in my mind, the way I was brought, you don't waste food. You don't, take more than you can chew and all that good stuff. So I'm just like, all right, what's a couple of extra spoonfuls? Nothing's gonna happen. Whatever. You know, normally I'd have a bowl of chili, go to town with it. 2 slices of toast. 2 slices of toast. Nice bowl of chili. A glass of beverage of your favorite, you know, whatever you like. You like water? Go with H2O. You like a little bit of that bubbly? You can pour yourself a glass of soda, you know? But that's the thing, I'm like, it's not gonna be any different. What's the difference? Well, the difference was in that couple of extra scoops, because that's the thing, you had a couple of extra scoops of chili in your bowl, and now all of a sudden you're running out of bread. Well, you're like, oh, I could just finish the bowl of chili by itself. That should have been, or I could have just set it aside. I could have been like, you know what? I know my limit. I'm gonna play within it. You know, nothing risky, keeping it breezy. That's what I said to my. But I'm like, you know what? Don't be. I low key told myself, I'm like, don't. You know, you get up every day. You tell yourself you're gonna conquer that day. That day's your bitch, including that fucking bowl of chili. Is what I told myself. I'm like, I'm not gonna sit here and take this from this bowl of chili, dude. Staring me down. Tell me not to. You tell me I can't finish that bowl of chili just because it's got an extra couple of spoonfuls in it? What did I do? I'm like, you know what? I'm gonna toast another slice of bread. Let's tackle this. Let's tackle this nice and strong. Went into the fridge, got myself some extra, you know, beautiful pickled vegetables, you know? Start eating. Finished it off. Felt great. Filled myself up to the gills with that beautiful chili. Felt great. It was 10:30, 11's rolling around, you know, 11:30. Most of the nights I'm in bed by midnight, unless we're doing something, unless we're going out, which is, you know, it is what it is. Times are the times. That's the times. We're not really going out as much as we used to. Hopefully we'll get back on some sort of a regular scheduled programming, but you know, that's the thing. I went to bed feeling all right, feeling kind of like, you know, I'm full, but I'm like, you know, whatever, it is what it is. It's not like, it's not my first bowl of chili, it's not my first time eating food and I go to bed. But that's the thing, man. Went to bed, tossing and turning. It's midnight, 12:30, 1 a.m., 2 a.m. rolls around. It's pouring rain outside. There's thunderstorms all over the GTA. It's rumbling. You know, I hear lightning strike. Lightning. Try to catch it in a bottle. Metaphorically, of course. But it's not letting me sleep. And all of a sudden, I just feel this, you know, I'm hearing this downpour. Starting to feel a little bit sweaty. Starting to toss and turn. And this food's just like feeling, you know, sometimes that's the thing. You have too much. You've not given it enough time for it to digest. And you've just hopped into bed. You know, you're supposed to be vertical. Now you're all horizontal. I get up. And I'm like, you know what? I feel kind of thirsty. All that sodium's making me thirsty is what I said to myself. Let me grab myself a cup of H2O. That'll help. Get out of bed, drink that water, climb in bed. 15 minutes later, no bueno, dude. Storms are brewing. Storms are brewing inside of me. And it's that point, you know, it's that point where you have those internal conversations with yourself. How's this night gonna end? How's this night gonna end? Are we gonna just, because you know, you've had those times where you're like, sometimes you feel like something's not sitting right, you might want to throw up, but you power through that bad boy. You get the cold sweats, you get the classic cold sweats, but you're in there like a trooper, just sitting tight, under blankets, staring at the ceiling, counting down. You're like, oh, another 10 minutes, I'm just gonna pass out, and you know, before you know it, it's gonna be morning and we're all good to go. Wasn't how it was gonna play out last night, dude. I think it was around 2:30 that I couldn't. It just didn't feel right. I'm like, I'm about to throw up, but I'm at that point in life where, you know, I've not thrown up in any place that I'm not supposed to throw up in a really long time, you know, and that's the beauty of it. Throwing up was fun when you were a kid, because you don't have to deal with the mess. Somebody else will clean it up. Throwing up's that, you know, If you're between the ages of 0 to 5 or 0 to 10, let's bump it up a little bit, because they say, they say a lot of things about ages. Let's just bump it. If you're between 0 to 10, throwing up's kind of fun. Every once in a while you yak a little bit up, just a little on your shoulder, on your papa's shoulder, on your mama's shoulder, on a stranger's shoulder. It's all good. You're a wee little baby. But a full-grown adult throwing up, and you're the one who's got to clean it up? Not a pretty sight. Not a pretty sight. But luckily I had my, I had my faculties together, baby. That's how it is. Faculties are all in check. All the time, most of the time. Like half the time, most of the time. So I get up. I'm like, you know what? Let's take this to the bathroom. If it's going down, let's go down, baby. Let's get intimate with that toilet bowl. That's what it is. Let's get intimate. You think I'm afraid of getting intimate with that toilet bowl, baby? I start hugging it. I'm feeling lonely, wrapping my arms around it, just questioning my life choices. And this wasn't something, you throw up sometimes because you've had an extra few too many drinks, or you've been experimenting with a little something. This was just food throwing up, dude. I've not had, not actually thrown up from a drink in a really long time. I can't even remember the last time I threw up from a drink, but it wasn't the case. It was just good old fashioned, you've had too much in your gut and it's not sitting well. Poor choices. That's what it is. Don't eat the heftiest of meals at like 10:30, 11 at night and then go to bed. Lesson learned. But I'm throwing up now. I'm throwing up, and it's just, I'm going through, again, life choices. I'm like, man, life choices is what I said to myself. I'm just going down everything. Going down this list, going down that list. But then that's the thing. If you had a drink or two and you're throwing up, the beautiful thing is you're like, man, I'm going to be okay after this, and you know what? I'm just not going to drink for a little while. That's the lesson sometimes. If you had too many drinks, you're like, what am I going to do? Not going to eat? It's not going to happen, baby. We're going to have to eat. Guess what we have for lunch today? More chili. More chili, absolutely. And we're going to rock and roll, and we're going to have some more chili. But that's the thing. Throw up once, go to bed. Everything's a little bit calmer. But that's the thing. When you throw up once, there's probably going to be, a little bit of that aftershock. It's that Mother Nature within you, just telling you, there's something not sitting right. You've pretty much either, it's a little bit of that, maybe it's a little bit of food poisoning. So today we're about to find out if it's food poisoning or if it's just a classic case of you had too much, and we'll talk about it a little bit on Friday. We'll see how it goes. But I'm pretty sure it's just I literally had way too much, dude. My bowl was filled all the way to the top. 3 slices of toast, too much liquid, and it was just a bad combo. So I'm just, throw it once, now I'm in bed, but I know deep down inside another 5 to 10, maybe 20 minutes tops, this is gonna go down again, twisting and turning. But I'm like, just tough it out, man. Just toughen up, just tighten up. Everything's gonna be okay. You're gonna get up in the morning, you're gonna just, go about your day like nothing happened. And then as I'm about to drift into sleep, it's right there. It's right there. Right there. I get up like a gentleman as I normally do. Do my walk. Start hugging that bowl, baby. I'm like, here we are. We meet again. Maybe it's meant to be. Maybe it's meant to be. Because they say if you love something, let it go. And then if it comes back to you, it's meant to be. So now I'm just like looking at this bowl, looking at my life. I'm like, man, something's meant to be. Start doing another professional set of throwing up, just going at it. This time it's stronger. Because the first time's that little bit, first time when you throw up, you want to throw up a little bit. But then whatever comes out initially, you're like, all right, that's it. I'm good. The first time's just open up the valves. You just open up the gateway. That's the thing. The second time's when the fun starts. The second time's when your stomach's already kind of upset. It's already kind of sensitive. It's like, what have you done to us? Time for a little bit of payback. And that's what it was, man. I opened my mouth and it just, now I'm just projectile vomiting into the toilet bowl. Beautiful projectile vomiting into the toilet bowl, just yakking away, just throwing up everywhere, getting splashes in my eye. Beautiful scene. I wish I could record it and show it to you guys, or maybe not. But hopefully hopefully I've been able to paint a beautiful picture with the words, and maybe that'll be sufficient. And if it's not, if it happens to go down again either today or tomorrow, I'll film it. And I'll just, we'll share a little memory together. Maybe not, but maybe we will. Because that's the thing, you never know around here. We might just do the craziest and wildest things. But that's what it was, man. The second time, I just got everything out my system. I'm like, all right, sweet. You get the cold sweats on your forehead, feeling a little bit shaky. You feel like that newborn. You feel like that newborn deer or lamb that's just come out of its mom's, and you're just trying to find your feet again. You're just trying to learn how to walk again. That's how I felt. Walking back to my bed, lay back down. I'm like, all right, let's calm down. Let's calm down. And obviously with everything going out around us, your mind starts playing games on you. Do I have this? Do I have that? Checking online for symptoms of this and that. No, you don't have this and that. It's just another case, a classic, you've had too much food. And we're gonna just play a little game of regurgitate, baby, regurgitate. That's the thing, it'll come up and sometimes it'll go back down. You're like, oh, I've already had enough food. Thank you very much. I don't want to have any more. But that's what it is, man. Another 5-10 minutes goes by. Third time's the charm, baby. I get up again. It's not sitting well. What can I tell you? It's not sitting well. I get up, go back to the bathroom. We meet again. Down on my knees, just making my peace with the world. I'm like, all right, if this is how it's gonna go down, I guess this is how it's gonna go down. Start projectile vomiting right into the toilet bowl. Nice, beautiful stream. I'm seeing everything that I've eaten in the past 24 hours. Now even breakfast particles are coming up. And that's what it is, man. You throw up a little bit in life. Doesn't happen too often, but then I got in bed. A couple of hours goes by. Finally managed to fall asleep. And here we are. It's Wednesday morning. Feeling actually kind of great, not gonna lie to you guys. Every once in a while, maybe it's good for you to throw up. Who knows? Maybe the bulimics know something. Maybe they don't. But it's about finding that balance. And that's what it was, man. It was just another wonderful life lesson that, past 10:30, 11, don't eat the biggest of the meals. It's oily, it's heavy duty, it's meat, brains, spices. Wholesome, delicious. We're gonna have it again for lunch, because that's how it goes around here, baby. You make a nice batch, it'll last you for a couple of meals. We're gonna experiment. But if we're just shooting around ideas, if we're just getting to know each other a little bit better, what do you guys prefer? Do you prefer, if you had to choose, if it's going down, if it's an evening of, if it's going to be a spectacle, if it's going to go down, what would you rather, would you rather run to the bathroom with that leaky bum, with that runny bum? Would you rather deal with a night of diarrhea, 2-3 times of diarrhea, or would you rather throw up? If I had the choice, I'd go with diarrhea, dude. I'd go with diarrhea. That's what it is. Because, throwing up is pretty much, let's break it down. Let's dig deep. Let's unpack this together, shall we? Throwing up is pretty much pooping backwards. Let's not get it twisted. It's just half digested or digested food that's not coming out the end it's supposed to come out of. And it's just like, you know what? We're gonna get out the same way we came in, and it's just climbing through you upwards, doing miracles, doing magic work, really, because it's not supposed to go down that way. But that's the thing. What do you guys prefer? If you had a night of, the cold sweats, you've had too much to eat, or maybe you've been experimenting with a little bit of this, a little bit of that. Be safe, whatever you're doing out there. Have fun. But also, if you got to get rid of a little bit of, it's at the end of the day, your body's registering it for whatever reason is not, it's hostile. This is toxins. Gotta get rid of it. Gotta reject it. Rejected. Because at least with the toilet bowl, when you're placed normally as you're placed on the toilet bowl, on the seat, and everything's just going down the way it's supposed to go, it is what it is. It is what it is. It's not that bad. digested food supposed to come out of your rear end. It's fine. Sure, it's not as solid as you normally like it to be, but it's still coming out the right end. Me personally, I'm not a fan of throwing up, man. Unless you really have to, and then that's the thing. And that's if you're like, if it's food poisoning, for it's, whatever it is that you've been doing. No judgment around here, but also, again, be careful, take care of yourselves. But I just prefer to go the old-fashioned. Call me old-fashioned. Just call me fashion. All right? I like to just, if I want to get rid of a little bit of good old toxins in the body, or a little bit of that whatever it is that's been built, I'd rather just, resort to the good old-fashioned rear end discharge. I know. Some people like choices. That's the thing. It's the beauty. You can choose whatever you like. So I leave it up to you guys. What do you prefer? Do you prefer to go with that, classic diarrhea, or do you rather throw up if you got to get rid of a few stuff in your stomach? I'll leave it up to the people. You let yourself decide what's suitable for you. Make your own decisions out there. I had to share that with you guys because it threw me off my routine. It threw me off my element. It threw me off my, I had a whole get in there with, and it just like, I wasn't even sure if I was going to make it today. I wasn't even sure, because I'm like, that's the thing. You take some time off. You take a little teeny tiny break, and I hadn't taken a tiny break in a really long time. I'm like, you know what? You feel good right now. You're going to go back on Wednesday. You're going to have a tip-top show. You're going to feel good. And that's the thing. The night you get the cold sweats, you start sweating here and there, and that's what it is, man. And all of a sudden, everything that I've been reading over the past week kind of starts making sense to me. Because your boy likes to read every once in a while. Just been reading a little bit because there's so much going on. I'm just trying to, like everybody else, make sense of it all. What's going on? What's going on in the news? What's going on in our lives? What's going on in politics, in sports, in this, in art, in literature, in music? Man, people dropping albums, people switching teams, new people coming up, people going to, it's, man, so many things are happening. And that's what I've just been trying to read a little bit, just to try to make sense of it and start moving forward, because this is now our, we're stepping into this is the second year that we're going to be together as a family, as a gang, doing, gang activity, and I'm just trying to figure out what's the next step, where are we going, what's the direction, is there even a direction, a little bit yes, a little bit no, and that's the conclusion that because I'm reading different texts a little bit, I'm going back to, trying to dig deep a little bit. We've talked about this in previous weeks. We talked about, we're coming out of, some are arguing that we're coming out of post-modernity. I had to go back and refresh my own memory a little bit. First we had modernity, then we had post-modernity. A little bit of a distinguishing factor for you guys. Modernity may be giving us, a little bit of that good old-fashioned order. A little bit of that, neat and tidy order. And then post-modernity came along. Late 70s, maybe early 80s, 90s. Gave us a little bit of that disorder, Gave us a little bit of that nihilism. Give us a little bit of that irony. A little bit of that, You'd hear phrases like, I came, I saw, I conquered. Just like, things that just, build up on top of each other without really having any, everything's got the same weight. Everything's kind of valued the same. That's where we were at that point. I hope that kind of makes sense. I'm trying to still make sense of it myself, so let's try to make sense of it together. That's what it is. But I found myself, I'm like, okay, we're definitely not in a modern state anymore. Definitely doesn't feel like post-modernity because things aren't as absurd. But there's a little bit of that absurdity which we all love. Who doesn't love a little bit of absurdity? You know what I mean? And I'm just trying to read, just trying to lead and find answers, a little bit of answers. Found this article which was suggesting, it was a sociological article, was suggesting that we're actually entering, or everybody's actually kind of, that's the thing, right now everybody's kind of debating, everybody's kind of telling, you see it, and why am I talking about this? Because it's important, because we see it in politics, we see it in art, we see it in film and movies and sports, we see it in our own daily lives. Everybody's kind of like looking for answers and looking at each other. It's like, do you got the answer? No. What about you, sir or madam? Do you have the answers? And we're coming at that point where some people have termed it, some people have gone ahead and, they've gone ahead and termed this stage, this era as the meta-modern. Meta-modern. And if it makes sense, if I can understand it correctly, meta-modern means basically it's that we're in that page of history where we're oscillating. It's the oscillating 20s. We had the roaring 20s in the 1920s. Right now, if I can make sense of it in my mind, right now is that oscillating 20s, baby. That shifting, that swinging, the back and forth between the old guard and the new guard, between the old world and the new world, between the modern and the postmodern, between the order and disorder, between creating something new but also trying to look at the past and preserve what's, I guess, good about it, but also add on to it, move past beyond some of the terms. One of the terms that I've come to like by now is, move beyond the pastiche, dude. Move beyond the pastiche, bruh. Move beyond that pastiche of just, life imitating art, or art imitating life. Because that's the thing, we're looking at each other. A lot of times that's where I find myself. I'm like, what are we supposed to do at this point? Because like almost everything's been, when you think of the greatest painters, the greatest of greatest painters have come out there in the past, have painted the most beautiful paintings, and it's done, and it's like, man. Even in terms of ideas, it's we're looking at each other trying to imitate, but also trying to reinvent. And I guess this is the era where you realize you're going to be inventing, you're going to be creating, you're going to be going out there and doing the things that you want to be doing with the consciousness, or rather the realization that maybe it's not going to be ever ending. It's never going to be perfected, and that's the realization. I think it's just going to be right now in this era, we're going to be striving, and that's what matters. I think we're going to be striving. I think every day you're going to come out there and do whatever you can to strive forward, and that's the only thing that matters. There's no point of realizing that there's no point of reaching this quote-unquote perfection. It doesn't exist, but striving for it exists, and that in itself is wonderful. So, artists in different realms right now, that's what I see right now in my own work, whether it's, whatever it is. I see full of ups and downs, and that's how it is for everybody else out there too. I see, people, whether they're athletes, whether they'll go through the highest of highs, and then they'll plummet down, and then they'll go through the highs, and then plummet highs, and it's just like, it's interesting. It's interesting. It's beautiful, because I think now we're going to get to learn that, not everything's, people are way more complex, and life is more complex. It's not just this like linear thing that you can look at and be like, well, it is just this beautiful, straight thing that I can look at and define and be like, yes, that makes sense to me. Right now, I think the oscillating 20s, or a little bit at figuring out what stage we're at in life. And again, you'll see it in politics too. We'll go far in the pendulum keeps swinging. We'll go a little bit to the left, and then we're like, whoa, hold your horses there, and then we'll swing back again to the right, and then again a few years goes by, we're like, hey, let's swing, and it's just going to be swinging. You'll see it in music. You'll listen to an album. You'll listen to an album twice maybe, just because the first time wasn't really clicking, and then that's the thing that clicks in my mind. I'm like, okay. We're expecting more from each other. We're expecting consistency. We're expecting more. But that's the thing. Humans come with their limits. That's why you listen to an album. A few hits, a few definite misses. You'll look at a painting or two, and you're like, man, that one really speaks to me. Whereas the other one is just like, meh. It is what it is. You'll hear that's what I'm realizing more and more, that now I think we're going to be looking at each other, trying to look at things from a broader perspective rather than this zoomed in approach of the past. Maybe we were looking for, oh, give me that perfect slice of whatever it is that you were trying to provide for me. And that's where I'm at in life. I'm like, okay, cool. With this knowledge, I can and maybe this is helpful for you guys a little bit. With this knowledge, you can just keep going forward with the notion of knowing you're not going to be. And I've known this for some time now, but I try to remind myself and keeps me going, because I know I'm never going to reach this, like, quote unquote state of perfection where I come out and like, oh, I'm killing it, just joke after joke after joke after joke. And that's, I don't know. I'm trying to, like, this for me has been a very cool experiment, a very cool experience. I'm learning a lot about myself, about everybody else, about our world. And that's the only thing that I can take away from it right now. Just keep going with the notion of wanting to perfect it, but knowing that perfection's out of reach. You know, it's kind of like, you know, you're playing this little trick on yourself. A metaphorical little donkey chasing that metaphorical little carrot. You're going to get out there every day, chase that carrot with the knowledge of knowing you're never going to reach it. But you're going to get up and do it again. And you're going to get up and do it again and again and again. And that's kind of beautiful in a sense. That's helped me a little bit make sense of, I don't know, maybe it's helped me a little bit. Maybe I'm trying to still make sense. I think I'm still trying to make sense of it. But hope you guys, you know, if you're wondering what's going on, that's the thing. I hear everybody. There's so much confusion. There's so much, you know, you'll hear the news where it's not the news anymore. The news used to be, you know, people just read you facts. This is what happened. That's the fact. Deal with it. Now you're getting mixed messages from all the sides. That's why everything's swinging. You don't really, you know, whatever it is that we're talking about, you can find evidence backing it in any different direction. You know, whatever it is. That's why I feel like it's the oscillating 20s, baby. It's that time where everybody's gonna have to take that responsibility, you know, as individuals, and perhaps that's the beauty of it. Maybe there's a little bit of that freedom, because why would you want anybody dictating to you? Why would you want anybody coming up with the answers where you can come up with the answers? I know sometimes in certain areas you'd like to actually be able to look at facts, but this is actually incredible because we'd like to do it better, right? History's never gonna end. It'll just continue going. Science is never gonna just be like, oh, well, we've reached this point and this is it. Science will continue to grow. Art is always going to keep pushing the boundaries. Comedy is going to keep pushing the boundaries. Music is going to keep pushing the boundaries. And we're going to go swinging back and forth until we find that sweet spot. And then maybe we'll settle down in that sweet spot for a little while. But after that, you know what's going to come after that, right? More swinging, baby. More shifting. More changing. That's where I'm at in life, baby. Hope that makes sense. I'm still trying to learn. That's all I can tell you guys. Just trying to learn. And hopefully I'm bringing a little bit of a smile on your face every once in a while, and I can crack a little bit of a joke here and there. Sometimes we'll talk about some serious issues, but honestly, this is just, I'm very happy to be alive, dude. I'm very happy to be able to contribute in some way to the human experience. And I want to send out a lot of love and energy to you guys. Go get it out there. It's Wednesday. We're going to come back here and tickle each other's membranes. Definitely on Friday and Saturday for the Patreon edition. Hope you guys have a wonderful week. It's hump day, baby. Let's go get it. If you haven't liked these videos, go ahead and hit those like buttons with your head. Yeah, with your head. Hit it with your head. Follow me on Instagram. Search Rob Sadri on YouTube so you get the full-length videos. That's right, full-length videos on the YouTubes. And if you want to support your boy in any other shape or form, there's always Patreon. We're adjusting. We're tweaking. I myself am oscillating, baby, swinging back and forth, baby, trying to figure it out, trying to do it better. Thank you guys for all the love and support. We'll be back here again on Friday. In the meantime, have fun. Peace out. See you soon.